The law now says that your pregnancy is a protected status, period. You don't need to have a pregnancy-related medical condition. You don't need to have gestational diabetes or hypertension. You don't need to have a high-risk pregnancy where you're bedridden. Pregnant. You're pregnant? You're entitled to flexibility. You're entitled to reasonable accommodations throughout your gestational cycle, and you're entitled to a reasonable period of time to recover from childbirth, and you're entitled to come back and lactate, express milk in your workplace. They have to, and it can't be in a bathroom. They can't put you in, an unlocked, it has to be a private, non-bathroom space with a door lock where you can express milk. And in New York, you have 3 years postpartum to do that, and you get paid for that time. Under the Pump Act, it's on your time for the couple of 15-minute breaks you take need to be off clock, but and you need to be returned to your position or a substantially similar position. So now these days, while not every employer is fully aware of this, if you're pregnant, you're in a protected space and you are entitled to flexibility, maternity leave, and during your pregnancy, if you need to see your OBGYN, if you need to get sonograms and other further testing, your employer has to be flexible with you. But again, it comes back to the onus is on you, the employee, to document this. And one other little tip, when you're pregnant, when you first learn you're pregnant, when do you announce it? How do you announce it? It's a good question, right? When you're pregnant, you shouldn't, most people know this or their OB-GYNs tell them this. You should wait until roughly the end of your first trimester to even announce it to your family. Back in the day when my wife was pregnant with my oldest, and I'm going back decades, we were at a wedding and she made 300 people and we were so excited about it. I announced it. I said, she's pregnant. My wife's, and everybody was like, oh, Mazel Tov. She had a miscarriage and then a DNC. You know how much more emotionally painful it was to tell everybody that. So most obstetricians will say the pregnancy is far more stable around the time of the end of the first trimester. But before you're showing, if you work in person, because you don't want them to see it or get wind of it before you tell them. So generally, before you're showing, you want to announce it in writing. It's an important tip that it doesn't have to be a big deal. You could just send an email to HR or to benefits saying, we're so happy, congratulate me, I'm with child. I'm just wondering about the company's maternity leave policies because my due date is thus and such in 6 months. Just want to let you know. That's so vitally important because so many women, after companies learn that they're pregnant, companies don't really like that. It's a pain in their butt. They know that you are entitled now to flexibility. You need to use the restroom more. They have to let you do that. You need to eat at your desk in a company that says you can't eat at your desk, but you have morning sickness. They have to let you do that. You stand up all day in your job. You need to sit down. They have to let you do that. You sit down all day. You need to stand up and walk around because you get stiff, orthopedic issues. You've gained 35 pounds. They need to let you do that. So by putting it in, and to top it all off, you're going to be out for 3 months on maternity leave potentially. And so, and in New York, we have a paid family leave program, fortunately, where you get 12 weeks of about 65% of your pay capped at the New York State average weekly wage. But it's money. Federal law doesn't yet offer that. We're the only country in the industrialized world, essentially the only country on the planet that still doesn't think it's important enough to pay men and women for parental leave, right? Like we're supposed to be the family values country. We don't walk that talk, right? But I digress. The point is you want to announce it because to a company, it's profit oriented. There's all profits over people. So to most companies, if they are looking to replace you because you're pregnant, because you're now kind of high maintenance to them, you want to make sure that you have documented that you are pregnant so that they can't, if you didn't announce it, and then they just get wind that you're pregnant, and then they write you up for something, right, as a way of managing you out, right? You're closing the barn door when the horse is already kind of galloped away. You're kind of a dollar short and a day late again.